Hi, I'm Paddycake, and this is my best friend, Brent. We've been besties for a while now, and one of the things we bonded over was our shared love of Madlibs. On Christmas a few years ago, Brent pitched the idea to me to create a show where we use AI art to accentuate the humor of Madlibs. 3 weeks later, we started filming, and we haven't stopped since. Through this project, we hope to share our weird humor and to highlight both the unexpected beauty and complete absurdity of AI-generated art. Welcome to MidJourney Madlibs. Hello, my darlings, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new, please come in and make yourself at home. My name is Paddycake, and welcome to Paddycake Games and another episode of MidJourney Madlibs. And with me, as always, is my best friend and co-host, Brent. How are you doing tonight?
I'm trying to think how many ways there are to skin a cat.
Oh, it's one of those nights, like last week.
Well, I mean, when you've got a 4-month-old or 3-month-old, you just have to roll the punches.
Well, we're not going to waste any time. You guys know how this works. We send each other Madlibs. We send each other the answers to go into those Madlibs. We then take those Madlibs. We run them through MidJourney. We create art. We get together. We share the art with each other, and we laugh. And that's the show. And we hope you like it. And if you do like it, look down below the video. There's a button just for you. It's a thumbs up button. That means you like it. And if you're clicking on that, you might as well click the subscribe button. It's right next to it. And that'll really help out this channel. And if you really want to be thorough, you can click the notification bell. And that'll let you know when new videos are posted to the channel. Brent, you're up first.
Okay, so I have a how-to for you today. I'm going to teach you, or someone's going to teach you how to play Clue.
Oh, okay. The game that everyone knows how to play.
And it's going to be in the style of Nathan Pyle.
Nathan Pyle, a contemporary creator and former cartoonist at BuzzFeed, has gained widespread acclaim for his distinct brand of humor and unique artistic style. His notable work includes the webcomic series Strange Planet. Pyle's art style is characterized by simple, endearing characters with expressive eyes, set against a clean, minimalist backdrop. Strange Planet explores the humor in the mundane aspects of human existence, revealing the oddities of our everyday lives through the lens of extraterrestrial beings. Pyle's clever use of language and precise illustrations turn commonplace situations into delightful, thought-provoking revelations. The aliens, with their earnest curiosity and literal interpretations, provide a humorous reflection on the idiosyncrasies of human behavior, creating a delightful intersection of the familiar and the fantastical. Pyle's ability to distill complex emotions and situations into relatable, bite-sized comic strips has resonated strongly with audiences. The success of Strange Planet has not only garnered a massive online following, but has also expanded into published books, merchandise, and even animated adaptations. Nathan Pyle's unique blend of humor and insight has left a mark on the world of webcomics, proving that sometimes the most extraordinary observations can come from the most ordinary of places. At this time, recline comfortably. Allow your brain to experience an endorphin rush as a result of the angry or insane improvisational story read by the one who refers to himself as a carnivorous massive feline indigenous to Eastern Asia by an artist. What am I saying here? Oh. Well, why not just say, now sit back and enjoy TxTygrr's Madlib in the style of Nathan Pyle.
Do y'all want to learn how to play Clue?
I do.
Oh, then this is not the place to be. Clue is a game that requires players to use a lot of hamburger to solve Robert Downey Jr.'s murder.
Okay. Well, here's the cast of characters. We've got, I guess one of those is Colonel Mustard, and one's Professor Plum, and Miss Scarlet, Miss Peacock, Mrs. White.
I don't see any of these people you're talking
I
about.
don't either. Not a single one looks like them.
I see like Harry Potter and Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I see Eddie Murphy. Nice. So it kind of read into the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man thing. Very cool.
It's like, this is too great. So here's some hungry rules. You know, that hamburger and stuff. Mm-hmm. So here's some hungry rules to help you crack the paper plate.
Okay. Well, I guess that's the big crack down the center. Kind of looks like it kind of looks like a combination of a road or like a lava flow.
And I'm not sure what those are.
They're cute. One only has one wing though. So
maybe the other one's tucked behind him. You must have between 3 and 32 people to play the game.
I have never played a game of Clue with that many people. What are these things? They're little brick things, brick people.
All I can figure is because there's a lot of pairs of things that look like they're talking to each other.
Like one panel, yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's just a very strange interpretation of characters.
One YouTuber cannot be on a single square at the same time.
I bet he has a very successful channel. Probably more successful than mine because look at him.
Well,
how could you not be successful?
One thing though, what I gather from this particular rule is that we will never be allowed to play Clue because we can't even be on a single square with ourselves.
Oh, that's true.
So this was actually supposed to be a plural one, but since you gave me the number 1, it turned it into a singular because I'm like, is this Audrey? Is Audrey doing a YouTube channel now?
Feed me, Seymour! Yeah, it's a channel all about the benefits of eating human flesh.
But 4 players can be in a room at the same time.
What is wrong with her? Girl, you need a sandwich.
Well, it could just be her species. I mean,
and then
what's up with that Harris?
And then the dude in the front whose suit jacket is. I can't tell if it's made out of dog hair or if it's made out of wood. It's one or the other.
Well, that's the one that looks like Ed Harris to me.
Oh, it does kind of look like Ed Harris. You're right. And the one on the that's kind of half out of frame is Lurch.
Your totes.
You rang.
Players can either drive the dice or use a colossal passage to move their character.
That's cute.
That's the first one that actually kind of resembles
It does
comic.
kind of. That's cool.
Because there's a change. We don't know what they're saying. I mean, if they had like word bubbles, it would probably make more sense.
I mean, I just wonder what they are. Like, is he a rock? And how did they get dice how did they get this out of driving and dice or colossal passages? That's the thing that baffles my mind. It's like, how did it?
Maybe he's explaining something. Players can move their character tokens up, down, or sideways on the hoodie, but never capriciously.
They have to be very serious. It's a Nathan Pyle hoodie. I love it.
That's so cute. It's like, is that a Smurf house?
It kind of
Is that a Smurf motorhome?
a Smurf motorhome. That's a funny idea. They'd be very small. But the color scheme is very Nathan Pyle. Like that sort of aquamarine blue is like a lot of his comic is that color.
Try to make a suggestion every time you panic in the smelly shower stall in the gym. I don't remember that.
Well, I tell you, I've had to use a smelly shower stall, not in a gym. I didn't panic, but I tried to go as quickly as possible. And what is happening here?
That's, I think, why you're going to panic.
I think they're panicking because the whole thing's about to flood.
I couldn't not use this one just because of how absolutely weird it is. It is probably one of the weirdest things that we've ever had on this show. It reminds me of one of those like kids books where you're kind of familiar with these characters and they're all doing weird things.
It reminds me of Where the Wild Things Are.
And a little bit of Richard Scarry. It's a style blend. It's Richard Scarry and Murray Sendak. But remember, a player can only dance one final accusation.
Stop! It's dance time.
Oh, I just noticed something.
Oh yeah,
That's
their crotches are a little suggestive.
This is awkward.
And the guy in the front's like well, actually no. I'm confused about the guy in the front's anatomy now. Because it looks like he has hands coming out. It looks like he has 4 arms, but he only has 2 hands because his bottom arms don't have hands. They just sort of end in little stumps.
If any component of their accusation is flabby, they lose the game.
I'm not flabby. I'm just big and round.
Oh gosh, who did that sound like? It sounded like Droopy Dog.
Oh, okay.
However, if the accusation is correct, that player smokes.
I think he's holding it backwards.
He didn't say he was going to do it right.
True. That's fair.
So now that you still have no idea how to play Clue,
Nope, not a clue.
would you like to see some honorable mentions?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And the one on the bottom, you would think that's the dance your accusation.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's actually, I want to believe it's the flabby. You lose the game. It's almost like these are the other players, and they're like, you lost. But I do think that's funny that they came right after dance.
That's funny. Oh.
Yes.
It's like
it's Robert Downey Jr. wearing a Smurf motorhome.
Sorry. He's got the toad hat on.
Yeah, that's some
It also
weirdness there.
it also kind of reminds me a bit of the Che Guevara iconography.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
You must have between the 3 and 32 people to play the game, and they seem to have that.
Yeah.
And also
have 5.
Africa's on the moon.
Yeah. It sure is.
Oh my.
So many facial expressions.
If any component of their accusation is flabby, they lose the game.
He's so nervous about it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's just like you know, it's just like it's amazing. Yeah.
He smokes.
And once again, there's some really weirdness going on with those clothes.
Well, it's an alien though. Oh yeah, the clothes are really weird. It's like it's made out of skin. But it's an alien, which makes sense if it's Nathan Pyle because his biggest comic is about aliens.
And he is physically reminiscent of the aliens that he draws. He's just like highly
detailed, exactly.
But the face looks about like their same shape. Mm-hmm. I feel like we don't know a whole lot about Nathan Pyle or Clue at this point.
Probably not. Well, actually, we know a little bit about Nathan Pyle from the intro, but probably nothing about Clue. I hear Lady Shablagoose here, and she has another story for us.
Yeah. I think she mentioned when she heard about my Madlibs for this week that she's going to do a how-to fairy tale, and I am not sure exactly how this is going to turn out.
Okay, well, let's find out. And now, Country Fried Fairy Tales with Mother Shablagoose.
Hello? I think I've made you wait quite long enough. So it's time for our first Southern fairy tale. Once upon a time, in the heart of the southern woods, there lived an opossum and a white-tailed doe, known far and wide for their peculiarities. You see, the opossum wasn't as slow as your garden variety tortoise. No, this little critter had a unique trick up its furry sleeve. Whenever it found itself in a tight spot or faced with a frightful predicament, it would go all catatonic, like a corpse on a Saturday night. But don't be fooled, for this possum had a heart as steady as an old porch swing, and it didn't frighten so easily. Now the white-tailed doe, she was a magnificent creature, graceful and fleet of foot, but her confidence was as towering as the Georgia pines. She'd often stop and nibble on the sweetest garden greens, thinking her speed and skill were unmatched. She'd chuckle at the possum's peculiar ways, for she believed she had the race in the bag. The day of the great woodland race arrived, and the news spread like wildfire. Creatures from far and wide gathered at the finish line to cheer on the racers. A squirrel, a rabbit, and even a sly old fox were there, ready to witness the start of the spectacle. The race began, and the deer was off like a summer storm, her hooves barely touching the ground. The possum scurried along quickly, though not fast enough to overtake the doe. If something didn't happen to help, the possum was going to lose. But as the deer pranced along, knowing she was going to win, she passed an eerie sight. Many shining orbs in the moonlight. The mesmerized deer, believing she'd stumbled upon a bunch of cars, was struck dumb, just like the proverbial deer in headlights. What's the funny twist in this tale, you ask? Those headlights were nothing but fireflies who'd come to light up the finish line. There was just a quick sprint away, but alas, the deer was as frozen as an icicle, while the opossum, now more fearless than usual, slipped past her with a sly grin and reached the finish line first. All the critters in the crowd erupted in laughter and cheers, for they'd never seen such a sight. That poor old opossum, out of pure shock from the woodland animal's jubilant howls, promptly fainted, but he was still the winner. And so, dear friends, remember this tale of the opossum and the deer, for it teaches us that overconfidence can be a most curious trap. Just like the peculiar opossum, we all have our ways of surprising the world, and sometimes it's the underdog who has the best laugh in the heart of the woods. As the opossum lay there in its temporary frozen state, a bunny and a turtle, who had been leisurely watching the race, exchanged a knowing glance. They understood that sometimes it's not the swiftest or the flashiest that wins the day, but the one who's just a bit wiser. And with that wisdom, they sauntered away, leaving the mesmerized deer to ponder just what went wrong. Well, I'll see y'all next week. Christmas is coming, y'all. We're excited.
Well, thank you for that, Lady Shablagoose. I will keep those instructions in mind.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, it's my turn. I've got a Madlib for you guys. It's called Did You Ever Have One of Those Days? And I had a style blend. So my art style is in the style of Faith Ringgold, blended with Dongi Lee. Faith Ringgold was born on October 8, 1950, as Faith Willie Jones in Harlem, New York. Her mother, Willie Posey Jones, was a fashion designer, and her father, Andrew Lewis Jones, worked a range of jobs and was known to be an avid storyteller. After the Harlem Renaissance, Ringgold's childhood home in Harlem became surrounded by a thriving art scene where prominent historical figures in the arts such as Duke Ellington and Langston Hughes lived just around the corner. Ringgold suffered from asthma, and due to this, explored visual arts as a major pastime, experimenting with crayons and learning how to creatively sew fabrics thanks to her mother. Though she grew up during the Great Depression, she has stated her family protected her from these things. Ringgold's future art was greatly affected by the people, poetry, and music that she grew up with, as well as the racism, sexism, and segregation she experienced in her life. Ringgold began her career as a painter in the 1950s after receiving her degree in art education from New York City College. She initially wanted a degree in art, but women at the time were not allowed to major in certain subjects. Her artistic endeavors are extremely varied. She has produced paintings, sculptures, performance art, children's books, and quilts. Her mother collaborated with her on her early quilt projects after teaching Ringgold how to quilt in the African American tradition. This collaboration eventually led to their first quilt, Echoes of Harlem, in 1980. This traditional style of quilting was passed down in her family from her great-grandmother, Susie Shannon, who was a slave. In an interview with the Crocker Art Museum, she stated in 1983, "I began writing stories on my quilts as an alternative. That way, when my quilts were hung up to look at or photographed for a book, people could still read my stories." In '87, Ringgold accepted a teaching position in the visual arts department at the University of California, San Diego. She continued to teach until 2002, when she retired. In 1995, Ringgold published her first autobiography titled We Flew Over the Bridge. The book is a memoir detailing her journey as an artist and life events from her childhood in Harlem and Sugar Hill to her marriage and children to her professional career and accomplishments. 2 years later, she received 2 honorary doctorates, one for education from Wheelock College in Boston and the second for philosophy from Malloy College in New York. She has now received over 80 awards and honors and 23 honorary doctorates. Ringgold resides in Englewood, New Jersey, where she has lived and maintained a steady studio practice since 1992. Few artists have the impact that Ringgold has had on our culture, so please enjoy this Madlib with the art and the style of Faith Ringgold. Oh wait, there's a style blend, so this will be mixed with Korean pop artist Dongi Lee. Dear Diary, what an ephemeral day.
Oh my.
You just hear the oh. And at first I thought this was perfectly symmetrical, but it's actually not. There's very slight differences between both sides, but it's mostly symmetrical, which I think is really neat. I forgot my gym baby dragon, so the rusted teacher made me do 100 grinning jacks.
What the frack?
There's the rusted teacher. It's like, do 100 grinning jacks.
Exactly how many of my words are in that statement?
Baby dragon, rusted, grinning. So 3. Wow. Yeah. But I thought that was really funny and weird. Like her teacher was the baby dragon.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this class because some of them are wearing lab coats, but they look like they're just kind of sitting on benches in some situation. I don't know.
One of the interesting things about that happened with this style blend is Dongi Lee does a lot of Asian influenced art. It makes sense because he is Asian. Faith Ringgold does a lot of African American influenced art. And so I would get various pieces of art with each prompt that kind of went in both directions and sometimes combined the two together.
I mean, I totally see it. I mean, there's a lot of African American people in the front and the back, and in this section over on the left, some of them look like anime. Mm-hmm. Some of them look sort of like the old racist artwork.
Yep.
I mean, but
I got a lot of that, so it's really interesting. I was late to homeroom, and the teacher had me write 6 times, "I promise not to be swollen ever again."
Is this the teacher passing out the assignment?
Apparently, I don't know. Or maybe this is the student writing 6 times, which only 6 times, come on. And "I will not be swollen ever again," that's not a promise you can make, honey.
Well, maybe it's more like swole, like
swole. When you're... She's been working out. No, but what I loved about this
artwork is incredible.
It is. And what I loved about it the most is it captures the quilt work as well, with the pattern on the desk and on the wall behind her.
I find the mix of textures and even the art styles within this picture really provocative.
And as if that's not enough, I was in the bathroom and dropped my report in the novelty lamp. Now, I got nothing I did with this prompt did anything other than giving me lamps, just pictures of unusual lamps. And when I saw this one, I just immediately said, I want this lamp so bad. It's so freaking cool.
It is amazing. It's absolutely so cool. I almost said Tiffany lamp, but I'm like, I think I've done that before. Mm-hmm. And when I did this one, I was sort of like thinking about the leg lamp from Christmas Story. But this surpasses. This is amazing.
I can't turn in a soaking wet deep hole, so I'm probably going to get a G. Okay, so I was really worried that sentence was going to give me problems. Because I wasn't sure how MidJourney was going to interpret a soaking wet deep hole. Thankfully, this is what it gave me.
Oh.
I guess the mouth could be interpreted as a soaking wet deep hole, but at the same time, I think she's just expressing her absolute anguish at the situation. She can't turn in her report because it's soaking wet. Ah!
See, I'm getting some Donna Summer vibes.
Oh,
too.
yeah, she totally looks like she's singing as well. That's another interpretation. Did I mention someone spilled a bowl of pleasant soup all over me at lunch?
Oh, that's nice.
And she's awash in the pleasant soup.
That is an interesting soup full of flowers.
Full of flowers and straws and chopsticks.
I feel like
and maybe
this is
some
more of a
fruit.
Lisa Frank mashup.
And worse than that, I bit into an apple and cracked the filling in my light blue molar.
That is something crazy. I mean, I like how it interpreted that. That looks like a tattoo.
It does look like a tattoo, or I can see this as an album. I can see it as an album cover also. It would be a really cool album cover. I got a lot, just FYI, I got a lot of apples with mouths. That was the main way it interpreted. It was an apple with an angry looking mouth. Bazinga! I guess I just got up on the wrong side of the roast duck this morning.
I'm way better than I was expecting.
It's Saint Agnes of the duck. Saint Agnes of the roast duck. It's the Madonna as a duck.
I was gonna say Maduka, but
Maduka. I love it. Maduka. That might be a shirt. Okay. So are you ready for some honorable mentions? Okay, so here's my first honorable mention.
whoa, more Richard Scarry.
Right. Now this reminds me a little bit of Where's Waldo as well.
Oh yeah.
But this was what was this? I think of this Dear Diary, What an Ephemeral Day. Guess it said, I'm not sure exactly what an ephemeral day is, so I'll show you everyone's day simultaneously.
It's really crowded. I do like the multi-level thing they've got going on, where it's almost like they've got like balconies that are actually walkways, and then sometimes you walk through a building to get,
Seriously, if you're watching this on a larger screen, pause the video right now and then just stare at this for a while and like talk to each other and point out all the weird stuff you see in this picture, because there's a lot of weird stuff in this picture.
Yeah, I want this. I want to put this on my big screen TV.
All right, so this was, I forgot my gym baby dragon, so the rusted teacher made me do 100 grinning jacks. This is like, I mean, the color palette, and of course it's African American, so it's very Faith Ringgold oriented, but also the background is quilting.
Yeah.
So it kind of captured all of that. Oh, this is the soaking wet hole, soaking wet deep hole. So I'm probably gonna get a G.
Wow.
And this is very much. I mean, this really doesn't really remind me of Faith Ringgold all that much, but it's very much in the style of sort of jazz art, like American, African American jazz art. Kind of looks like this. That's sort of, there's lots of movement. There's people playing instruments, And this is the light blue molar.
That is a very terrifying apple.
He's as big as a river. Now this looks a lot like her work, as far as like the way it's composed.
Yeah, like her work in Nightmare Fuel.
Mm-hmm. That's it for my Madlib, and that is it for our show this week. So
no, just for the day.
Oh, yeah, for the day. Just for the day. That's it for our show for today. We'll have another one on Thursday, just like normal. Don't freak out. But that's going to be it. We're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for coming by and watching the video. Make sure you click on like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Like and subscribe.
The algorithm demands it.